Hello, everyone. This is author Tim Brown of the book Uncommon Athletes and of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I'm blessed to have with me today David Carter. We call him DJ, and we're just excited to see him in that red and blue Hanover.
Yes, sir.
It was exciting to see him. And one of the things I want to do on this channel is to showcase young up and coming coaches as well. Those have done some things and on their way to great success. DJ had a lot of success in high school. I went to started out in New Albany, then went over to Westminster High School in Connecticut, a prep school in Connecticut, same school his dad attended, and he had the opportunity to break his dad's record in the long jump. How was that feeling? How was that breaking dad's record?
Well, actually, I did. I came half an inch short of my dad's record for long jump. Wow. But one of the cool things, which is actually how I found which jumping event I really loved, triple jump. I broke the triple jump record. So even though I was half an inch short of my dad's record, my dad and I now have our names up there on the record board. It has David Carter. I think what was his 22.4 from, what was that, 1979? Still standing. Then my record's right underneath him, David Carter from 2015. Wow. I think it was like 46.7. So that was pretty cool. I remember at graduation when my record finally got put up, took a picture with my dad at the board. Yeah. His name, my name. So I was like, it was pretty cool. It was cool to have like my own event, like my own record. You know, I would have loved to break his, and I could have. There was one jump that I fouled that I don't think was a foul. But you know how that goes. Every jumper, no jumper ever thinks they're really foul. But I mean, it was kind of fitting that, you know, I did my own sort of thing. My dad always told me, you know, just to be my own kind of person. As much as I went to the same school as him. Pretty much did all the same sports as him, but, you know, just being able to find like my own thing within track that was mine, something that my dad didn't do. It was pretty cool, and pretty cool to have my record up there with him.
Right. That leads us into a conversation. How did you begin triple jumping? How'd you go from long jump to triple jump? How'd that come about?
Yeah, I guess when I went to Westminster, actually, it was because in Ohio, they don't really do it that much at the high school level. But when I went to Westminster's college prep boarding school, so in New England, it just seems like it was, I mean, we did javelin there too, which isn't something that they do at every high school, especially not in Ohio.
Right.
But, you know, I saw the event and I was like, I want to try it. Like, it just looked fun. It was one of those events. It was a challenge. You know, it's a lot of toll on your body, a lot of toll on your legs. It's just like a different motion. There weren't a lot of people that were doing it. So I'm like, I might as well just hop in there and try it out. And next thing I knew, I was, you know, one of the better triple jumpers in New England. And then when I got to college, one of the best jumpers in my conference and D3 level for a couple of years. So, I mean, it was a fun transition. I think the most difficult thing about it is just there are two different movements. So for triple jump, you're going out for that first phase. It's like it's a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, you can't have as much speed as long jump, because if you do, you're not going to be able to take that toll coming off that first phase. So it's like we use percentages, and you're never at 100% for long jump. You're probably about 80 to 90% of speed, depending on what kind of athlete you are, how much you can handle. But for triple jump, it's probably 75%. And long jump, you're going straight up, or you're going straight up to go out, right? So you jump up. Triple jump, you kind of, what I told my athletes is I do a swimming motion on my first phase to kind of help me remember that on this, I don't want to jump up. I want to get the most distance I can horizontally on this. I don't want to pop up in the air. And long jump, it's the speed carries you. The speed is important. And it does in triple jump too, but it's a little more technical when you triple jump. You got to be a little more methodical with how much speed you're taking down the runway.
Right. That's good stuff. I was reading an article about you and your coach, Fitzpatrick, talking about you in that triple jump. He talked about how you're not as tall as other people, but he mentioned this word, competitive excellence. He said you make up for it with a competitive excellence. Where did that competitive excellence come from?
I mean, I guess probably my dad, I'd have to say, because I mean, my dad was the athlete. He was the one growing up. I think also kind of my sisters, my two big sisters, Evelyn and Rebecca. I mean, they're both superstars in their own right, in their own fields. So for me, it was like, well, sports is my thing. Right. So if I'm going to do sports, I'm going to shine on the field and off the field within athletics and outside. but this is going to be my arena. So one, I got to make sure that I hold up my superstar part that my sisters are doing in their fields.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure I was keeping up with all the awesome things that they were doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, really it's sports. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, nobody ever wants to lose when they compete.
Right.
And if somebody does want to lose, I don't know what they're doing sports. But it's just, once you get out there, and I think too, once you get that taste of being successful, you can't go back the other way. Cause then it's just like, man, I missed it. So, it's just having to keep up on that same level every year. You're really competing with yourself. I mean, it's one of the most common things people say in sports. Only thing that can stop you is you. I've never found anything more true than that. If you didn't train hard enough, then by the end of the season, you were going to see that. If you did train hard enough, once again, at the end of the season, you're going to see what work you put in. So I think it was just always that, competing with myself, competing with my siblings, and of course with the people in the conference. But I definitely think, just within myself and within my family, just, trying to make sure I had my own little moments of shine.
Right. And that's a good word for young athletes. It's about competing against yourself, trying to get better every day, that competitive excellence. And I know in track, it was always about your PR, what's your personal record, your PR. Every day you're trying to beat that PR, and it's personal. One thing about you being an uncommon athlete, in the book, we talk about preparation. And I know at Denison, you pretty much were just year round preparing, meaning that you play football, then you would go from football to indoor track to outdoor track. When did you take a break? What kept you going? What drove you?
I don't know. I was thinking about that a little bit last week. I mean, I guess it was really just the team atmosphere. For football, I mean, I had some tremendous teammates. It was just a really cool group of guys. I mean, I lived with the same 3 guys for 3 years, and then the same guy was my roommate all 4 years, quarterback. So I definitely think, just being around good teammates made doing both sports a lot easier. But I mean, as for taking breaks, I think after football season, I'd usually take off maybe a month. Because, we'd end in about November, October, and I wouldn't start training. Sometimes I'd wait until January, until we came back from winter break. But I mean, it wasn't like a complete break. I'd still be in the weight room or, doing yoga, something just to stay active, but just kind of take it off the legs a little bit. And in summer, really after track season, I always probably should have taken off a little more time after track, but right after that, it was back into football mode, and let's get back. Cause I mean, I had to put on some more weight, cause I think when I played, I was 155, 150 sort of range. But then when it came to jumping, I wanted to be 145, 140 is. So, it was just putting back on the muscle, and, getting the muscle off after football.
I was reading that during one football season, you suffered a broken jaw. And early in the season, which kind of sidelines you for the rest of the season. And there's a story that kind of propelled you into having a great track season because you had a chance to rest, the rest
sure
of the
did.
day.
Yeah.
How was that experience? How was that?
I mean, that was tough. That was probably one of I think for a good part, or not a good part, but especially in those last couple of years, just being in 3 seasons year round, it really started to take a toll on me mentally. I just remember that football season, I trained so hard. I was ready to go out there. Junior year is supposed to be that big breakout year for, just for some people, at least mentally, some athletes think that way. And that's what I was thinking. The year did not open up the way I thought it would for me. So I went out there, I remember third quarter against Allegheny. I didn't play that much in the first half, or I didn't get that many snaps. And I was the starting punt returner. So I said, no matter what happens, I'm running this punt back. So, I went out there, I didn't even look down. I remember the guy just popped me right under. I still held onto the ball. That's the proudest thing I did.
Right.
I didn't, but I just remember just sitting on the bus on the way back. I was just it was kind of a teaching moment for myself, just in how to deal with my own emotions, my own anger, my own feeling of, maybe it was even a little bit of selfishness, honestly, now that I think about it, me being selfish. I mean, we were winning big in the game. I didn't have any reason to do anything.
Right.
But, it was that it allowed me just to sit back. And I think that's really what helped me get really close with the team, because I was out for the whole year, but I still had to be there around. And I think all of my coaches, I remember at the end of the season, they said, you were amazing, just for the way that I was still there, every practice, every game. I mean, I couldn't talk, but, I was clapping. I was doing everything I could on the sideline, being a cheerleader, jumping up and down. So I think it taught me how to be a better teammate, how to care for others a lot more. But yeah, I think when I went into track season, I knew that I was going to have to take advantage of having all that time off. I was like, all right, there are some things that I wanted to break records here. So I was like, this is the time to attack that. And I remember, I took full advantage of it. So it ended up working out, which is like always just a weird thing to look at an injury, like as being good for you. But I mean, in a way it was.
We know being people of faith, we know the Bible says that all things, work
right
for the good of the Lord, according to his purpose. With your dad, I know your dad as a pastor, and you got uncles. How has faith been important in your life? What role has faith played in your life?
I think every step of the way, faith is, faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? So there's a lot of things out there that, you might go out and do it, but you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And I think that's where the faith comes from. I mean, for high school, going to Westminster, I didn't know I was going to go there until about a week or two before school started, when I found out I got a full ride scholarship. I just remember my parents telling me like they told me like, we can't pay for this. I got into the school, but the school was like, we want you here, but we don't have money right now. And a week before, boom, got it. And that was the faith of, hoping, holding on.
Yeah.
I think that really even throughout competition, I think one thing that always kept me sane, even when I was doing poorly in the competition, was just, I'm not alone in this. Like if it's if it's a bad day for me, then that's just what's in the plan for today. I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, or I beat myself up about it a little bit. Still upset, but I think just holding on to the idea that God's got me, like no matter what happens, even if I don't make it to nationals, if I'm not an All-American, if I don't win conference, God still got me, which I found was true. The amount of things that I was able to do because of my athletic status, which maybe even for the last year, I don't know how much I deserved it, because my senior year was a little iffy. But just, I got to go talk at conferences. I got to network. I got to connect. And I had an extremely blessed college experience. I think that's just a lot of just the idea that something positive was going to happen, not always thinking that, man, this isn't going to happen for me. Like, no, it will happen. Why? Because why not? Right? Why not hold on to that little bit of faith? Why not just say, you know what, it will happen? And more times than not, it did for me in college.
Yeah, amazing how the doors that God will open up for us, We trust him and believe in him. And go ahead.
No, I think, and also something that was big for me as an athlete. So I have tattoos of Bible verses, on different places of my body that throughout my life I have used to kind of get me through different experiences. I got Romans 8:28, which is my birthday.
Right.
I got Philippians 4:13. I got faith is a substance. So I got, just everything. And that before, every time I would jump on every approach, I'd rub my tattoos, kind of just as those reminders that, like, nothing can stop God's plan for me. Whatever is going to happen, I got to, I might not see what's going to be at the end of this meet, but I just got to walk through it, have the faith. All things work together for good for those who love God, those who are called according to his purpose. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Those were just constant reminders that I put on my body to remind myself, one, God's got you, and two, I got me. Like, I got this. I can do this. So I think that was another big thing that really got me through college, honestly.
Yeah, I remember you came to Columbus and was hanging out with us at Fellowship of Christian Athletes, FCA summer camps, starting out as a camper, becoming a leader. And I think Cameron Hart was on here, and I asked him, what was his favorite camp experience? What was your favorite experience at camp? Favorite camp memory?
As a
camper.
as a camper.
Then we'll go to huddle leader.
Um, Man, there were a lot of good. I remember, like, actually, I think it's honestly just for me. I mean, I was always an athletic kid,
Yeah.
so I think the best part about it was whenever we get to go up against whenever the huddle leaders would let us join them.
Yeah.
Let us, play pickup basketball with them or whatever we're doing. They'd include us into it, and that was always just something that was so fun. I think even you'll remember. I mean, it made me want to be a huddle leader
Right.
before I was able to be one, just because I was like, man, I want to be able to include kids in what I'm doing too. But I mean, that was probably I think that's probably what helped me be a huddle leader and, be involved with the kids so much is just when I was going through it, every huddle leader was, they didn't exclude you just because you were the little guy, they always made sure that you were there if you wanted to be. And that's probably my favorite memory. The best thing I remember.
Yeah. How about as a huddle leader? When you crawl to the other side?
I think the biggest thing would be, I think throughout the years you'd see the same kids come back.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see how those kids would change and grow, whether that be as a person, or in their faith, athletically, whatever it may be. I always see in the process of somebody just grow in any sense is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be like a part of that development, is second. Like, that's why I wanted to get into coaching, helping people become better, however that may be, as a person, as an athlete, as a student. That's what you're doing. And I think that was the best part about being a huddle leader. You come back year after year. Like, I remember Dean's just one of the guys. I'll talk to him. Like, we'll talk about Dean sometimes with Cam and Jalen, just like, yo, I remember Dean. Dean was great.
Yeah.
But just like kids like that who just have come back every year, and you see how they grow.
Right.
And that was just, it's cool to see.
Yeah. I think Dean's maybe a freshman or a sophomore in college now, actually.
Yeah, I think we saw that because he actually follows a couple of us on social media. And one day we're like, what is this guy up to? We're like, man, Dean's living his best life. Good for him.
That's it. So now let's put on your coaching hat as we wrap up. What advice would you give some young student athletes, who are going through, who want to compete at the next level? What kind of words would you encourage them with?
I think for them, definitely you have to be dedicated. I think especially because I'm a Division III coach and I was a Division III athlete, I think a common misconception about Division III is that they're not as dedicated to the sport or whatnot. I'm not sure if that's how many people think, but at D3 we definitely feel that way. Mm-hmm. But D3 has some serious athletes. Mm-hmm. I think you'll realize no matter what level of sport you go to, you're going to have to be dedicated. You're going to have to work hard at your craft. I mean, it's not something that happens overnight. I mean, I've seen some kids are on the D3 level because they have the talent, but they never worked hard enough. So, they can skate by with what they have. But, you could get money out of school if you decided to work harder in the classroom and in the weight room in high school. So I think that's one of the things, just be dedicated to what you're doing. And also just have a little bit of faith. I mean, my college recruiting process was weird. I mean, just weird. For a little time, I wasn't talking to anybody. I'm like, where am I going to go to college? Like, am I going to play football anywhere? Am I going to run track? Like, does anybody want me? I was freaking out for a little bit, really. And then I think it was like January, February, Denison finally, because I met them in the summer. But they finally contacted me again. They're like, oh, we haven't forgot about you. And I think just keeping on to that faith in whatever you're doing, whether it's, if you're in the weight room and you're trying to get up 225 and you haven't got it yet, it doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you need to work a little bit more and then you'll get there. Just have the faith that you'll get there. You'll keep working. Just don't stop. Don't stop ever. Keep going.
That's good. Sounds like heard that word faith all through that,
Yeah. I mean, I think my spiritual journey, my own journey, it's been an interesting one. You can't plan anything out really in life. You can have a certain type of plan that you want, and you can have places where you want to end up. But I mean, ultimately, nobody knows where we're going to be. Like 5 years from now, I can hope I'm a head coach, but will that be the plan? I don't know. But you got to have fit, because if you don't have fit, what are you holding on to? I mean, if there's not something there that you got saying there will be something good that comes out of it. I mean, it's for me, it's hard to move on to the next day if you can't find a little bit of that silver lining, a little bit of that, a little extra thing to keep you going.
Yeah, that's good. We'll leave the athletes with this. Proverbs 3, 4, and 5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he'll direct your path. And I know the Lord is truly directing your path, and I'm sure
Yes,
you're
sir.
trusting and just letting God direct your path. And it's been a joy talking to you. It's good to call you coach. Welcome to the ranks. Welcome to the ranks.
Yeah, no, it's still weird. I got, I'm the same age as, like 2 years older than some of these, some of my athletes, but I'm still Coach Carter, Coach C.
Carter.
So, I mean, it's real. It's cool. It's been, it's been a blast.
Oh yeah. It's real. Good journey. We pray for continued success for you. All right, Coach, I appreciate you joining me today, and look forward to following your career throughout your coaching career.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.